Greetings and salutations, citizens. This is Photek, and here we are with another fun little unboxing overview review video. This time it is going to be for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. This is probably the first of a really long pile of card decks for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Some of the decks, by the way, can actually be used with the original Pathfinder, particularly these three decks can be used with original Pathfinder, as they do not have any specific rules on them that heavily modify things in such a manner that it would break original Pathfinder. If anything, they might actually be underpowered for original Pathfinder. But anyways, this time it just happens to be that my Arcane deck is on top of my deck for Secrets of Magic for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So here we go with our little fun section on Pathfinder 2nd Edition Arcane Spell Cards. This deck is right on the bottom is the Paizo symbol right there, as well as the product identification number right there for the product line. These are lift off top boxes, so you slide them up, as you've probably seen before. I like to leave on the plastic because it actually creates an extra protective barrier between Cheeto dust, dust in the air, and maybe even moisture. Inside the box, there is a hefty deck. I'm not joking, there's a lot of cards in there. It does not state on the box exactly how many cards are in there. Nor does it does not state on the bottom either, but that's a lot of cards. That's a lot of cards. In this deck, this happens to be the Arcane tradition or source or line of cards that pertains to the original players, the core rulebook. In this deck, there is a basic card with the credits and basic legal information here, with the open game license section on the back. And I literally grabbed the highest level cards first. So I'm actually going to... There happens to be this little extra piece of cardboard in there, because all these boxes are slightly larger than what it would store cards in, the number of cards. So they put an extra little spacer in there. The nice thing about that spacer is it makes it easier to pull the cards out, as well as add more cards in if you have to make custom cards for custom spells you have designed for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, or they release new decks and you want to take the cards from the Advanced Player's Handbook and merge it into these boxes. You can do that. You can also do the same thing with the Secrets of Magic deck. However, the Secrets of Magic deck is a lot of cards. Oh my... How many cards are in there? Seriously. That's like a Magic the Gathering multi-deck box. But anyways, I'm going to show you off the first thing. This is the basic instructions card. This is the nicest thing about Pathfinder 2nd. Beautiful artwork on the back side. By the way, each deck has a different artwork or subject on the back. We got the iconic wizard, because wizards are iconic to Arcane art. You got a beautiful list listing out the spell on top. On the other side is the level. It's a cantrip 1. Then you got the tags, the key tags or the keywords. If you ever are curious as to what these mean, these are actual special words that tie into a mechanic system related to that. Like in the case of this, it's Acid, Attack, Cantrip, Evocation. So it's specifically the School of Evocation. It's a type of a spell. It's a cantrip or a level 0 spell. It's an attack, so it counts towards your multiple attack penalty. And then its element is acid. And then right below it, it even repeats again, tradition, arcane, and primal. So this spell occurs also in the primal deck as well. All the spellcasters are broken up into 4 traditions: arcane, divine, occult, and primal. And some of them share various spells between them. So instead of, say, like having your sorcerer list and your wizard list and your warlock or witch or list, you happen to have a arcane list, and the arcane list happens to be a group of characters take from the same list. And what differentiates your selection of spells in that list is various things like whether you're a prepared caster or a spontaneous caster and so forth. But anyways, on these cards, being that this is a cantrip, there's a leveling mechanic for the effect, as you can see. So there you go. And then there's on the top all the little information as to whether it targets you or an enemy and what kind of shape the attack is and so forth. You got a nice, beautiful selection of cards in here. There's a few important situations here. Like I'm gonna flip through. I'm gonna cut through the deck and set a bunch of cards down. Now I've reviewed the Dungeons and Dragons spell decks. In fact, I'm literally gonna grab the Arcane deck for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, and on this deck you can see that video for more details on it. But in that video, I complain about various spells that'll go down the card, and they'll just stop right here. And I'll have a little tag that says "See page ba ba ba." The nice thing about these cards for Pathfinder 2nd edition is that it says "Continue on back," and it flips over, and there's information, the rest of the information for the spell. Seriously. It's that simple. The spell runs down this sheet, gets a little short distance away from the bottom. As you can see, there's blank space there. It tells you, turn card over, and it continues on to the back. Simple solution. Seriously. You got a beautiful selection of spells like command in here. As you can see, there's spell 1, which is a level 1, referencing level 1 spell. Got a nice selection in here. There is tons and tons of cards. They're all well written out. They pest form. Ooh, cool. You got a pest form spell, all kinds of fun stuff. Pathfinder 2nd edition really gives you tons and tons of options for spells. I'm not joking. It just keeps going and going and going. And then it goes all the way up to level 10. That, by the way, is Wish, the 10th level spell. You got Time Stop, which is 10th. Remake, level 10. Gate, level 10. Cataclysm, level 10. Oh my goodness, Cataclysm. It's just ridiculous damage that pumps out on that. Weird, which is a level 9 spell, and so forth. These cards, other than the fact that they're still decent made, they're not really hard at all. However, the artwork is beautiful. They're well written. I don't see any errors or flaws. However, the amount of times I get to play Pathfinder 2nd edition is far fewer than Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. But I don't see any errors on these cards. You get a huge deck. Paizo with their incredible brilliance, designed the system to be modular, so you can continue to add new cards easily to the sets every so often. And not just that, but in the case of spells being so long that they do not fit on a card, they go to the back side. So nice. So there you go. I definitely... These have to be literally the best spell cards that are not a specialty third-party vendor I've ever come across. And by the way, that does not mean that all third-party cards for Dungeons & Dragons or Call of Cthulhu or any game system are better than the official cards. There are some third-party spell cards that are horrible and make some of the weaker decks of cards make some of the weaker looking decks of stuff like that look really good. Like there's third-party Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition card decks that make this look really, really good and an awesome option. And this is still a good option, but the way Paizo really planned out their system and how they implement and design the cards, it's like, yeah, it's way better than what Gale Force 9 and Wizards of the Coast has done. However, as I said, the Gale Force 9 and Wizards of the Coast cards are still darn good. I put these like a 4-star. They're a nice box and all. You can easily fit the deck in it. No trouble at all. Or the really fat decks. By the way, one of the largest decks of the 4 regular or the 5 regular decks is the Arcane deck. And I said 5 and there's 4 traditions because there's also focus spells. So you have, get this out. You have Secrets of Magic, Advanced Player's Handbook, Primal Spell Cards, Occult, Focus Spells, and I have to move it down so I can continue to stack it, and Divine Spell Cards, as well as the Arcane Spell Cards. I definitely give these Arcane Spell Cards 4 stars. And that should reflect on all the other decks as well. I will go through those individually as well to show you off the decks and talk about them a bit more. But that's about it. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on it and subscribe. And have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month. And see you next time.